back to Miss Cindy's Kitchen. We're going to show you a way back recipe. This is from a 1975 cookbook that was published by Lee & Perrins as a supermarket cookbook. And that was really the in thing in the 70s and the 80s. Food manufacturers would create all these recipes to highlight their ingredient. In this case, it's the Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. And in honor of them, I have the generic, but same thing. This is called Worcestershire Wimpies. It's basically a sloppy Joe type of sandwich.
Ooh.
So I'm going to show you how that all comes together. So make sure you like and subscribe and give me your feedback. And I've highlighted lots of recipes out of this cookbook. As you can see, all these green tabs. So you might see future recipes come out of this cookbook. So the first thing you do, get the stove on, and it says to put a little bit of oil in the skillet to brown the meat. I don't normally do oil when I brown ground meat because it has fat in it, but I'm doing this like the recipe from 1975 suggests. So, and whenever I buy ground meat in bulk, I separate it into zipper baggies and roll it flat so it freezes quickly and thaws quickly. So that's another money saving thing you all can do, because everybody's looking to survive this crazy economy nowadays. So, and I have a handy dandy meat, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it breaks the meat down while you're cooking it.
It's a giant asterisk.
Yeah, the plastic asterisk.
See? It's for infomercials. It says, but wait, there's more! So basically, you're going to brown the meat and then take some of the grease out of it, and then add onion, tomato sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and salt, and let it simmer. And while it is simmering, I will get the buns toasted on a griddle. Because to me, there's nothing worse than a soft, squishy bun with soft, squishy meat on it. If you're going to have soft, squishy meat, like pulled pork or a sloppy Joe type of meat, toast your buns. They just taste better that way. So we're going to brown the meat. And let that cook.
How long does it usually take for you to brown the meat?
It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to brown up a package of meat. This is 1.5 pounds of lean hamburger meat. And I get the tray pack from Costco, so I just broke it down. And every time I brown meat, you know that old expression says, "How now, brown cow?" How now, brown ground cow?
Okay.
Sorry.
We're all hungry for dinner, so we're going to sit back and waiting.
Now it's starting to get cooked. After a long day at work, my brain gets a little silly, but that's okay. When life is stressful, you just gotta laugh when you can.
Now, you said you got a lean ground beef. I mean, how lean did you? Because there are like several different versions of lean ground beef.
The one that Costco sells as lean ground beef is 88%. So it's 88% meat and 12% fat. You need some fat in your meat for flavor, but you don't need a whole quarter pound of fat per pound of meat, which is what a lot of the cheaper ground beef is. It's a 73%.
So you would recommend something more like 88%, like 90%?
Yeah, because the yield is better, because for however much fat is in the meat, it's going to melt away when it cooks and also add more fat to your diet. So just factor that in. Sometimes it makes more sense to buy a cheaper price per pound with a higher fat meat, because your yield would probably be the same as if you bought a higher priced meat that you didn't lose as much during the cooking process. It's just something you have to take into account when you buy your groceries. Like if you have the fattier meat on sale for a really low price, you'll just get more than you need to account for the amount that's the shrinkage that happens through the fat melting away in the cooking process.
I notice you're spinning your little tool there. That's just another way of
Breaking up the meat.
breaking up the meat.
Yep. Break it up now, people. Break it up. You're like a bouncer for the ground beef. Gotta break up their little clusters. This tool is nice, but the meat gets stuck in the little crevices. I think this recipe was like a predecessor to Sloppy Joe's.
Worcestershire Wimpies.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire. I was told that the pronunciation of it is Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Or if you're from Boston, you can call it Worcester.
Worcester sauce.
No, because
Worcester sauce.
you have, I think that's how they pronounce Worcestershire. We know,
However you say it.
we know it would be Worcestershire sauce because they pronounce Worcester, Massachusetts. I think that's the name of the town as Worcester. So wouldn't it be Worcestershire?
Worcestershire.
All I know is that's some guy from England who's like, it's not Worcestershire, it's Worcestershire. I'm like, okay.
Worcestershire.
It's not like we use this. It's funny because Worcestershire sauce is like something that's like in everybody's refrigerator or pantry that almost never gets used until all of a sudden there's a recipe that uses it and you're like, I can finally use this.
It's a very good umami flavoring. Like in Asian cultures, they have fish sauce. You know,
Yeah.
And in European cooking, they have, I think it comes from England, Worcestershire sauce. It's just a deep umami, savory flavor. Alright, I'm going to drain the meat now. So, let me get a colander out.
Make sure the dog doesn't sneak a bite.
I swear, that dog, something else. Alright. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we show the draining of the
No,
meat?
we don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Draining the meat.
Yep.
I'm just pouring it through a colander down the disposer. And I often flip the skillet over so the drips of grease don't go into the burner when I put it back on the stove. And sometimes you can rinse some of the grease off by putting hot water over the ground meat. Alright.
Now, why do you drain it?
So you don't have greasy meat?
Oh, okay.
And that's what the recipe suggests. So now we're going to add the remaining ingredients that makes it Worcestershire Wimpies. I've already shaken up this sauce because it settled quite a bit. So, whoops. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. You don't need the sodium overload of a 1/4 cup. That's for the onions. Alright. So 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And it needs a 1/4 cup of chopped onion. I just chopped this up the other day when I was chopping up vegetables anyway.
I see you use a red onion.
I just happen to have that chopped. You can
Okay.
use a red or a white. And then it actually calls for salt, which it may or may not need, but I'm following a 1970s recipe when they didn't worry about their sodium intake. So it calls for 1½ teaspoons of salt, which is 1/2 tablespoon. And 8 ounces of tomato sauce. This is a 15 ouncer, so I'm just going to dump in half. And then the other half will go into spaghetti sauce or something. So, now that we got that all together, we're going to mix it together and let it simmer. And then once it starts to simmer, I will make the toast the buns on the griddle.
So you were saying that your Worcestershire sauce is like good for what again?
It's a savory umami flavor, like for casseroles, and it's called for in the Carolina pulled pork that I made, and in the beef brisket that I made. It's just a very good savory ingredient.
And what is that? I'm sorry, I can't. What is the word you used again?
Umami.
Umami. So what is umami?
It's just another word for savory.
Okay.
Maybe some of our other, culinary people out in the viewer land can give me more feedback on what umami or those type of flavorings are. They're salty, sweet, bitter, and umami. I think are the 4 taste groups.
I know for me, I've never heard of umami.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, the last time I heard of umami was like, ooh, mommy.
Yeah, when you're tattling on your sister and you're
Yeah.
little. Oh, mommy!
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Alright, so I'm going to heat up the stove to toast the buns. So, I don't know where you all are viewing from, but I always thought this was the funniest name for bread. Bimbo. And apparently it's a bakery. I think they're based in somewhere in California. So, and they actually, it says Bimbo Bakeries in Horsham, Pennsylvania. Because I know they're here on the West Coast, but I don't know if they're all the way across the country. I just thought it was a funny name for bread. Alright. So, get these buns out of the bag. These are nice buns. Nice buns. I went to the store to get buns and they were pretty much picked clean of all the inexpensive buns, but these ones cost a little more, but they were really good quality, so.
And you're using butter on those buns.
Yes. Mainly because the butter is already out and I didn't feel like digging out the mayonnaise, but
got it. Okay.
either one works.
I've heard some people left comments that they either some prefer butter, some actually do prefer mayonnaise.
Yeah. Personal preference. It's just like I prefer toasted buns over squishy raw buns. It's just preference. It's just like the whole pineapple on pizza debate that some people get into. You know? Whatever floats your boat. You can have whatever toppings on your pizza that you like. You don't like pineapple, don't have pineapple. But don't knock it for the people who actually like. So, I'm going to let those guys toast. And this is just going to simmer.
Smells good.
Yeah. And the funny thing about this cookbook is that it's 124 pages. And a little bit of it is the intro and the index. But there's that many pages of recipes that feature Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Now you're getting me saying it funny. So, owe it to the 70s and 80s for these supermarket cookbooks featuring ingredients.
What exactly is a supermarket cookbook?
They're published to be sold in supermarkets, like at the check stands, to highlight a certain ingredient.
Or product.
Like Campbell's put a lot of them out in the 80s. They even had the Campbell's Kids, where there was like a mascot, and they had a lot of cutesy things with Campbell's Kids on them. Alright. Toasting the buns.
But that is a good question because I forgot about all those supermarket
Yeah.
cookbooks that they used to sell.
They were really, even through the 90s, they were supermarket cookbooks. It just kind of faded as people gradually just did more of their recipe searches online. You know, and online is great for looking up different recipes and seeing how other people make things, and which is why viewers are here today watching videos. But it's always good to have, you know, backup of recipes when you have, let's say the power goes out or something's wrong with the internet. How are you going to look it up? So it's always good to have at least a few hard copy cookbooks, so that way you're not stuck without any recipes when the power goes out or you can't access the internet for whatever reason. So,
well, not just that, but like I said, sometimes you have these things in your fridge and in your pantry that you're like, oh, I didn't realize I have this. I think I know a recipe I can use this for.
yeah. It's always nice to go through your food stores and see what you got that needs to be used up and find a recipe to highlight all these random ingredients that you might have. I'm just going to toast a couple more buns and then we can dish up and show you what it looks like. These are almost the size of Whopper buns. Look at the Whopper hamburgers.
Definitely have it your way.
Yeah, except having it our way doesn't mean it's on the value menu anymore. But it was good while it lasted. But because of the state of the economy, they had to bring up their costs for ingredients.
Like everybody else.
Like everybody else.
So what other food? So just out of curiosity, what other foods would you use Worcestershire sauce for?
Mostly casseroles and meat-based dishes. But this has everything from salads to spaghettis to savory steak. And here's something that's called an English picnic pie, which is basically a pie crust wrapped around a meatloaf. It's just, it sounds fancy if you call it an English picnic pie. But looking through the recipe, that's essentially what it is.
It's just a meat pie.
It's a meat pie.
Yeah, picnic pie sounds better than meatloaf.
Yeah. And another recipe that we're probably going to try is cranberry spare ribs. So that would be really good.
As we're getting closer and closer to
Super Bowl. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do is show you what a completed sandwich will look like. So there's my spoon. And then we can have a taste test. This is just a very simple ingredients. It's only like, what, 5 ingredients? So it's not one that you have to clean out your spice cabinet to assemble. Or go to the store and buy something special. So, we can cut it in half and we can see what it looks like on the inside. Alright. So, who wants to taste test this?
Right here.
Alright. So, he's going to taste test it.
Yeah, I'm going to taste test it. Oh, that was good.
I'll cut these into quarters to make it easier to taste test because they look a little wimpy.
The Worcestershire Wimpies. almost sounds like the name of a softball team.
All right, Tyler, you want to come around and you can try them?
Oh, they're very good.
Yeah.
Can you taste the Worcestershire sauce?
Yeah, kind of actually.
Yeah.
Very good. It almost feels like I have cheese in this, but there's no cheese in this. It's really good. It is.
All right. You want to let Logan try one?
Yeah, I'm going to try one.
Get one of the Wimpies.
That's good. It is good.
I get what you're saying about the, I don't know, cheese flavor. Even though there's no cheese.
Yeah.
I can taste the umami.
Anyway, well, thank you for joining us again today. So please like and subscribe and share to your friends and give us your feedback. And come back and join us again soon, and we'll try more of these wacky recipes from the 70s. Have a great evening.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.